about garbage trucks?
Garbage trucks, they're actually talked about separately, I think.
All the garbage. I think Gal, the Holstein fat haulers got a 7.
Somewhere on here about garbage trucks were talked about separately. And then be just going that, what is it, 2 miles?
Galva, Shaler, and Early coming from the north and Sac. Sometimes they use the blacktop, sometimes they don't.
If we do any action, I would suggest that we make it contingent to some of these exemptions that we know can still operate.
Yeah, I'm not finding the notes quick, but I thought there was something in here one time about garbage trucks list, talk about. Well, it says the department, which I assume is talking about the DOT, that there may issue special permits for operation of compacted rubbish vehicles and vehicles with transport compacted rubbish from a rubbish collection point to a landfill exceeding the weight limits of section 321.463, but not exceeding the rear axle gross weight for 2 extra vehicles of 20,000 pounds for the period July 1st, 1978 and ending June 30th, 1986, 20,000 pounds commencing July 1986 and therefore after. I know garbage trucks used to be, as far as heavy axle, so you ran a pretty heavy axle.
Yeah, they'd be heavy, yeah. All that steel.
It's a heavy one.
They're letting them, and for tandem axle vehicles, transferable auxiliary axle vehicles not exceeding the gross weight on the rear axle of 36,000 pounds. And no special permits for operation shall be approved by the county engineer. So I think they're allowing them to go heavier on the rear axle than the 34,000 of the tandem is. But I think, I don't know, we've never issued any of those permits, so I don't know whether they've changed their axle spacing so they don't need the exemptions that they had in the past. A lot of those garbage trucks used to run just a single axle, and I think most of them run at least a tandem or an axle and a cheater, I think, anymore. I haven't really paid that close attention.
I'm just trying to think what the local one here has, but I can't tell you for sure.
Anyway, we've never have issued any special permits to garbage haulers that I'm aware of. Well, again, the main one, when I started, with the M50, and I started thinking of some other roads that maybe, might be considered too. But we could, it says we can grant permits for exemptions for those vehicles, so they just have to make sure the paperwork was in order. They'd have to call us and get a permit to exempt them, so that if a real did happen to stop them, they have their paperwork in order. I mean, if the board's considering moving forward with this, at least on M50, I'd probably look into getting signs made, and then we could, and get you more information, and we could work on the resolution and pass it next week.
I personally
A little
think,
more detail, you know, we brought up some questions that, you know, you need to answer before we move on this. I could talk, you know, talk to some people. You know, it's hard to say who could be impacted by this embargo, and you know, once the way the Blue Boys are involved, then, you know, we can't make that fine go away.
it becomes very expensive.
That's,
We saw that. I'm not totally against the concept, because, you know, the one road that we had to overlay with local funds because it just totally got destroyed. I don't want that to happen again. But I'd like to see more detail on what.
Okay.
the signs that you order, they're generic. I mean, they can be used in the future on other roads. They're not site specific.
No, and the ones that I've seen before, in fact, Calhoun County had a bunch of old ones in the shop that they were throwing out one day, and they were a heavy cardboard, so I grabbed a couple of them, and they're just they're probably 15 inches by 2 foot, and they're just a a cardboard. And I don't know if they just stuck them up on a steel post at the end of the mile, but they basically said 5 ton per axle, and those were actually printed with 5 ton on there. And I guess that's the only reason I use the 5 ton too, is that's what I've seen in the past.
Which that would allow an empty semi to go down it, but with no cargo. Right? Would that work out about
Yeah,
right?
I suppose, I don't know what they're running.
Aren't yours
36.
22,000 pounds or so, empty?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get some more information put together on that.